Picture this. It's a Friday night in the city, and the rain is coming down hard. Not the gentle kind that makes you want to curl up with a book. No, this is the heavy, relentless kind that sounds like 1,000 tiny drums against the windows. And inside the Cedar Grove Bistro, with its warm lights and soft jazz music, a woman sits alone. Her name is Maya. She's wearing an elegant burgundy dress, the kind you buy when you want to feel confident, when you want to make a good impression. She's checking her phone. Again, for the 5th time in 20 minutes. And with each glance at the screen, each minute that passes, you can see something changing in her eyes. Hope is slowly turning into something else. Something painful. She's been waiting for 45 minutes. Can you imagine that? Sitting there, watching other couples laugh together, seeing the waiters give you those sympathetic looks that make everything worse. 45 minutes of wondering if maybe you got the time wrong, if maybe he's stuck in traffic, if maybe, just maybe, this time will be different. But then he arrives, Trevor, and the moment he sees her, really sees her, his face changes. It's not surprise. It's not even disappointment. It's disgust. Pure, undisguised disgust. "Wait, you're actually deaf," he says. And he says it loud enough that people at nearby tables turn to look. Maya's fingers tighten around her water glass. Her knuckles go white. But her voice, when she speaks, is steady. Strong. "I have moderate to severe hearing loss," she tells him. "I wear hearing aids. I mentioned this in my profile." And here's where it gets worse. Trevor makes these mocking air quotes with his fingers. "You said you had hearing difficulties," he says. "I thought you meant like, sometimes you need things repeated. I didn't know you were actually." He pauses, and you can see him searching for the word that will cut deepest. Handicapped. Let that sink in for a moment. This man, this person she'd spent time getting ready for, who she'd hoped might see her for who she really is, just called her handicapped. Like it's a dirty word. Like she's somehow less than human. But Trevor isn't done. Oh no. He's already pulling out his phone, scrolling through it like Maya isn't even sitting there. Like her pain means nothing. "Look, this isn't what I signed up for," he says. And remember, he's not even trying to keep his voice down. Other diners are staring now, watching this humiliation unfold in real time. "I can't deal with this," Trevor continues. "Do you know how exhausting it would be? Having to repeat everything? Making sure you can hear in restaurants? My friends would never let me hear the end of it. Dating someone who can't even hear properly." Now, here's the thing about Maya. She could have crumbled. She could have let those words destroy her. But instead, her spine straightens. And when she speaks, there's a dignity in her voice that's absolutely magnificent. "I'm a pediatric nurse," she says quietly, but firmly. "I graduated from university with honors. I speak 3 languages. My hearing loss doesn't define my worth as a person." But Trevor is already standing up. His chair scrapes against the floor with this ugly, harsh sound. "No offense," he says. And you know when someone starts with "no offense," something offensive is definitely coming. "But I have standards. This is why people should be honest in their profiles. Wasting my Friday night because you couldn't be upfront about being disabled. There it is again. Disabled. Handicapped. Words thrown at her like weapons. And then he's walking toward the door, leaving Maya sitting there alone in her burgundy dress, fighting back tears. But here's where the story changes. Here's where everything shifts. 3 feet away, at a corner booth, a man named Isaiah has been watching the whole thing. His jaw is clenched so tight he can feel his teeth ache. And beside him, His 6-year-old daughter Emma has stopped coloring completely. Her small brown hands are frozen in the air, and she's staring at the scene with wide, worried eyes. "Daddy," Emma signs with her hands. "Why is that man being mean to the pretty lady?" Isaiah's hands are trembling as he signs back to his daughter. "Some people don't understand, sweetheart. Some people are just unkind. Now, what you need to know is this. Emma has hearing aids too. Just like Maya, she's been losing her hearing progressively since she was 3 years old. And Isaiah, this single father, has learned sign language so he can talk to his daughter, so she never feels alone in her silence. And right now, watching Trevor humiliate Maya, something inside Isaiah breaks. Or maybe it awakens. Because before he even realizes what he's doing, he's standing up, moving across the restaurant floor. But here's the beautiful part. He doesn't walk toward Trevor. That's what you'd expect, right? A confrontation, a fight. But Isaiah is smarter than that. Instead, he positions himself directly in front of Maya's table, his back to Trevor, who's pausing at the door confused. And then Isaiah's hands begin to move. Imagine this moment. This stranger, this man Maya has never seen before, starts signing to her. His fingers are graceful, deliberate, flowing through the air like a dance. And the words his hands are making, they say, "You deserve so much better than someone who can't see your worth." Maya's breath catches in her throat. Her eyes, which had been brimming with tears, go wide with absolute shock. This stranger is speaking her language. The silent language. The language that lives in the spaces between sounds. The language that Trevor just mocked. Trevor sees this happening. "You know that sign language stuff?" He sneers from the doorway. "Figures. Birds of a feather, right? You two deserve each other." The door slams behind him, and suddenly, the restaurant feels quieter. Like a storm has passed. Isaiah turns back to Maya, and for a long moment, they just look at each other. She sees kindness in his dark eyes. Something genuine. Something real. He sees strength in hers, despite everything Trevor tried to do to her. "May I?" Isaiah gestures to the empty chair across from her. Maya can't speak. She just nods. As Isaiah sits down, a small figure appears beside him. Little Emma, clutching her coloring book, her own hearing aids catching the light. She looks at Maya with these big, curious eyes. "I'm sorry you had to experience that," Isaiah says. And as he speaks, his hands move in perfect synchronization, signing every word. "Some people show you who they are quickly. He did you a favor by leaving." Maya's eyes move to Emma, to this beautiful little girl who understands what it means to be different. "Is she?" Maya begins. "This is my daughter, Nyla." Isaiah signs and speaks. "She's been losing her hearing progressively since she was 3. We're learning this journey together. Journey. Not struggle. Not challenge. Not problem. Journey." Emma steps closer to Maya, her small hands moving shyly. "Hi. You're pretty. That man was mean. Daddy says mean people are just scared of things they don't understand." And then something miraculous happens. Maya laughs. A real, genuine laugh that transforms her entire face, chasing away all the shadows Trevor tried to leave there. She signs back to Emma, her movements becoming animated, alive. "Thank you, sweetie. You're pretty too. I love your rainbow shirt. Is that a dinosaur on it?" Emma's face lights up like Christmas morning. "It's a Brachiosaurus. Do you know the sign for dinosaur?" And just like that, they're talking, connecting. 3 people who understand what it means to communicate in a language not everyone speaks. A language written in the air with fingers and palms and movements that say, I see you. I understand you. You're not alone. The restaurant manager approaches their table. She's an older woman with kind eyes and silver-streaked hair. I saw what happened earlier, she says, making sure to face Maya directly so she can read her lips. That young man's behavior was completely unacceptable. Your meals tonight, all three of you, are complimentary. As the evening unfolds, as food arrives and stories are shared, something beautiful begins to grow. Isaiah tells Maya about his late wife, Sophia, who died 2 years ago in an accident. How she was studying to become a sign language interpreter. How she wanted Emma to know she was perfect exactly as she was. Maya shares her own story. The children she helps in hospitals. The teenagers who feel hopeless after losing their hearing. Who she shows that life isn't over, just different. How this was her first attempt at dating in 2 years. How she'd spent 3 hours getting ready, hoping maybe this time would be different. I'm very good at making excuses for people who don't deserve them, she admits. Isaiah reaches across the table, his hand palm up on the worn wooden surface. An offer, not a demand. Being alone isn't the worst thing, he says softly. Being with someone who makes you feel alone, that's worse. Maya looks at his offered hand for a long moment. Then she places hers on top of it. Her fingers are warm. Steady, Daddy, Emma signs with her free hand. Are you making a friend? I hope so. Isaiah signs back, looking at Maya as he does. As the night grows late, as Emma starts to yawn and her signs become slower, Isaiah finally says what he's been building the courage to say. Nyla and I have breakfast every Saturday morning. 9 o'clock at the Sunrise Diner on Maple Street. They have the best chocolate chip pancakes in the city, and it's quiet enough for easy conversation. Would you like to join us tomorrow? Maya hesitates, just for a moment. And in that moment, Isaiah wonders if he's moved too fast, if he's overstepped. But then Emma signs, sleepily but earnestly. Please come. I want to show you my book about butterflies. And Daddy makes the worst jokes, but I bet you'll laugh anyway. Maya looks between them. This father who stood up for her dignity without being asked. This little girl who sees her hearing aids as something to connect over, not something to stare at. And she feels something shift in her chest. Something that's been closed for so long. I love chocolate chip pancakes, she signs to Emma. Then to Isaiah. 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock, he confirms, trying not to smile too widely. As they prepare to leave, as Isaiah helps Emma with her rain jacket and checks her hearing aids, Maya watches them. The practiced care, the unspoken love, the way they move together like a team. Thank you, Maya says as they stand by the door, for reminding me that I deserve better. Isaiah smiles. You don't need reminding. You just needed someone else to see what was already true. They part ways in the parking lot. The rain has softened to a gentle mist now, and as Maya sits in her car before starting the engine, she touches the pearl necklace at her throat, a gift from her grandmother, who was also deaf. She remembers her grandmother's words, signed years ago. Never let anyone make you feel less than whole. You're complete exactly as you are. The right person won't see your deafness as something to overcome. They'll see it as part of your story. Tonight, watching Isaiah's hands shape words in the air, watching him teach his daughter that her hearing loss was a journey rather than a tragedy, Maya finally understood what her grandmother meant. Saturday morning was coming, and with it, maybe, just maybe, a new beginning. Saturday morning arrived gray and drizzly, but inside the Sunrise Diner on Maple Street, everything felt warm and bright. Isaiah and Emma had arrived 15 minutes early. Emma had insisted on it. She wanted their usual table by the window. She brought her butterfly book and had practiced, showing Maya the sign for each species. At exactly 9 o'clock, the door opened. And there she was, Maya, shaking raindrops from her umbrella, wearing jeans and a soft blue sweater, her natural hair pulled back in a ponytail. She looked more relaxed than she had that rainy night. Less guarded, more herself. When she spotted them, her face broke into a smile that made Isaiah's heart skip a beat. "You came!" Emma signed enthusiastically, bouncing in her seat like she'd been waiting her whole life for this moment. "I promised, didn't I?" Maya signed back, sliding into the booth across from them. And just like that, it began. One breakfast became 2, then 3. Then it became a standing Saturday tradition. They'd meet at the Sunrise Diner, order chocolate chip pancakes and talk, with voices and hands and laughter that filled the quiet spaces between words. But it didn't stop there. Within a month, Maya was joining them for Wednesday dinners. Isaiah would cook. He wasn't great at it, but he tried, and Emma would set the table, and Maya would bring dessert. They'd eat together. This little family that was forming without anyone quite realizing it was happening. They went to the park, to the children's museum, to the library where Emma could pick out books. And slowly, carefully, Maya became woven into the fabric of their lives. Not as an outsider, not as a guest, but as someone who belonged. 2 months after that first breakfast, Emma had her school play. It was a big deal. Her first major performance. The entire second grade was putting on a show about seasons, and Emma had been practicing for weeks. Isaiah invited Maya. Of course he did. And when the night came, Maya sat beside him in the crowded auditorium, their shoulders touching, watching as the lights dimmed and the children took the stage. Emma was spring. She wore a crown of paper flowers and spoke her lines clearly, confidently. But then something happened that made Isaiah's throat tighten and tears start streaming down his face. The entire performance shifted into sign language. Emma and her classmates began signing their words, their hands moving in beautiful, synchronized harmony. The teacher had secretly taught the whole class, 22 second graders, all signing together, so Emma wouldn't be alone up there. So she'd know she was part of something bigger. When the performance ended, the auditorium erupted. But it wasn't just regular applause. People were doing silent applause too, hands waving in the air, the way the deaf community shows appreciation. Hearing and non-hearing, all celebrating together. Maya was crying. Isaiah was crying, and Emma, taking her bow on stage, was beaming like the sun itself. "Did you see that?" Maya signed to Isaiah, her hands shaking with emotion. "Did you see what they did for her?" Isaiah couldn't speak. He just nodded, reaching over to take Maya's hand, and she held on tight, like she never wanted to let go. 3 months after that magical night at the school play, Isaiah was driving Maya home from dinner. They'd spent the evening at a little Italian restaurant, talking and laughing, and the conversation had flowed so easily that neither of them noticed how late it had gotten. They were halfway to Maya's apartment when she suddenly said, "Pull over." Isaiah's heart jumped. "What? Are you okay?" "Did I just pull over? Please." Concerned, confused, Isaiah immediately pulled into a parking lot. He turned to Maya, searching her face for signs of distress. "What's wrong? Are you feeling sick? Did something?" She silenced him by leaning across the console and kissing him. Time stopped. The world stopped. Everything stopped except for this moment, this kiss, this connection that had been building for months and was finally being acknowledged. When they pulled apart, both breathing heavily, Maya's hands began to move. "I love you," she signed, her movements deliberate, certain. "I've been wanting to tell you for weeks, but I was scared. Scared that I was reading too much into things. That maybe you were just being kind. That maybe." Isaiah cut her off with another kiss. Longer this time. Deeper. When he pulled back, he signed slowly, deliberately, making sure she could see every movement clearly in the dim light of the street lamps streaming through the windshield. "I love you too," his hand said. "Not because you need someone to stand up for you. You don't. Not because Emma loves you, though she does completely and absolutely. I love you because you see the world the way we do. Because you've shown us that our small family isn't broken. It's just been waiting for the right person to make it complete." Maya's tears came freely now. Happy tears. Healing tears. "I never thought I'd find this," she whispered, her voice breaking. "After Trevor, after my ex before him, I thought maybe I was meant to be alone. That my deafness would always be a barrier." "It's not a barrier," Isaiah said, signing as he spoke. "It's a bridge. It brought us together." They sat in that parking lot for another hour, talking, kissing, planning a future neither of them had dared to hope for just months ago. 6 months after that rainy night at the Cedar Grove Bistro, Isaiah decided it was time. He'd been carrying the ring around for 2 weeks, waiting for the perfect moment. But then he realized there was only one perfect moment. One perfect place. He called the Cedar Grove Bistro and spoke to the manager, the kind woman who'd given them free meals that first night. He explained his plan, and she was delighted to help. On a sunny September afternoon that was nothing like that rainy night they'd met, Isaiah brought Maya back to the bistro. Emma was with them, of course. Their little family. He told Maya they were just going for lunch, celebrating 6 months together. But when they walked into the Cedar Grove Bistro, Maya's breath caught. The restaurant was full, completely full, but not with strangers, with their friends, their family, Isaiah's parents, Maya's grandmother, the one who taught her to never feel less than whole, Emma's teacher, the nurses from Maya's hospital, all the people who mattered, all gathered in this one space. And there, in the middle of the restaurant, was their table, the corner booth where everything had begun. Isaiah led Maya to it, his hand trembling in hers. When they reached the table, he got down on one knee. The entire restaurant fell silent, watching, waiting. His hands began to move, signing his proposal, his heart in every gesture. "You taught me that love doesn't need words to be heard," he signed. "You taught Emma that being different is beautiful. You taught us both that family isn't just about blood. It's about choosing each other every single day. Will you marry me? Will you choose us forever?" And then Emma stepped forward, holding a sign she'd made herself. It was covered in glitter and stickers and had butterflies drawn in the corners. The words read, "Say yes. I already picked my flower girl dress." The restaurant erupted in laughter, in tears, in joy. Maya was crying so hard she could barely see, but her hands moved anyway, signing yes, over and over and over. Yes, 1,000 times yes. Isaiah slipped the ring on her finger, a simple band with 3 small diamonds, representing the 3 of them, and pulled her into his arms. The restaurant exploded in applause, both heard and silent, hands clapping and waving in celebration. The wedding came the following spring. It was held at Waterfront Park, with cherry blossoms falling like snow, and true to the spirit of who they were. Every word was both spoken and signed. The officiant spoke and signed simultaneously. The vows were delivered in 2 languages. The songs were sung while hands moved in beautiful interpretation. Emma, as Flower Girl, signed a poem she'd written herself about family, about love, about how sometimes the best things come from the hardest moments. There wasn't a dry eye in the crowd. And when Isaiah and Maya kissed as husband and wife, when they were pronounced a family in every sense of the word, the celebration that erupted was pure magic. 5 years passed. Beautiful, full, sometimes chaotic years. Years of learning and growing and building a life together. Emma was 11 now. Confident, bright, fully fluent in ASL, and proud of who she was. She had a little brother now, too, Daniel, who was 2 years old and learning to sign before he could properly speak. He'd sign Cookie, hopefully at every opportunity, making everyone laugh. One day, Emma stood in front of her 6th grade class for a presentation about heroes. She'd chosen the topic herself, and as she spoke, signing every word, her confidence was remarkable. "Some people think being deaf means something is missing," she said, her hands moving expressively. "But in my family, being deaf brought us together. It gave me a dad who learned a whole new language just for me. It brought me my mom, I call her mom now, who shows me every day that our differences make us special, not less than. Being deaf didn't take anything away from us. It gave us everything." The class applauded. Emma's teacher wiped her eyes, and watching from the back of the classroom, Maya and Isaiah held hands, their hearts so full they could barely breathe. That evening, as they sat around the dinner table, Isaiah, Maya, Emma, and little Daniel in his high chair, Emma asked a question that made everyone pause. "Do you think Trevor ever realizes what he missed?" It was the first time anyone had spoken his name in their house in years. They'd never talked about him, referring to that night only as the night we met, or when we found each other. Maya thought carefully before answering. "I hope," she said slowly, "that he learned to see people more clearly. But honestly, sweetheart, I'm grateful for his ignorance." "Grateful?" Emma signed, confused. "How?" "If he hadn't shown his true colors," Maya explained, "if he pretended to be okay with my deafness, I might have wasted months or even years with the wrong person. His cruelty led me directly to you and your dad. It led me to our family, to Daniel, to this life that I never dreamed I could have." Isaiah reached over and took Maya's hand, the gesture so natural now, so much a part of their everyday language. "Sometimes," he said, "the worst moments lead to the best outcomes. That night, I thought I was just standing up for a stranger. I had no idea I was standing up for our future." The Cedar Grove Bistro still stands on the same corner. The manager, now a good friend of the family, still reserves their corner booth whenever they come for their anniversary dinner each year. "Table for 4?" she always asks, smiling at little Daniel, who's inevitably signing Cookie with his pudgy toddler hands. "Table for family," Isaiah always responds. And it's true. They're not just 4 people. They're a family. A real, beautiful, imperfect, perfect family. They'd built something extraordinary from that night of humiliation. Not despite the challenges, but because of how they'd chosen to face them together. Their home was full of laughter and silence in equal measure. Conversations happened in gestures and expressions. Love didn't need sound to be heard. In the end, that rainy night at the Cedar Grove Bistro hadn't been an ending at all. It had been the beginning of everything. Colton's cruelty, though painful, though meant to diminish, had inadvertently created space for something genuine to bloom. His inability to see Maya's worth had led her directly to people who saw nothing but worth in her. His rejection had become her redirection, The Cedar Grove Bistro still serves the best coffee in the city. Couples still meet there for first dates. Hearts still break there sometimes. And hearts still mend. But in that one corner booth, where a single father once stood up for a stranger's dignity, where small hands signed, "You're pretty," to a woman who'd just been called handicapped, where love proved it needs no sound to be heard, in that booth, miracles happened. And they continue to happen. Every single time someone chooses to see worth where others see weakness. Every time someone stands up for a stranger. Every time someone signs or speaks or shows, in any language, "You deserve better." Because everyone does deserve better. And sometimes, on rare and beautiful occasions, better is exactly what they find. Maya found it. Isaiah found it. Emma found it. Daniel was born into it. They found each other in the wreckage of one terrible night. And they built something that would last forever. That's the thing about love. Real love. It doesn't need perfect circumstances. It doesn't need people to be exactly the same. It just needs people willing to see each other. To really see each other. And in that seeing, in that recognition of worth and dignity and beauty, miracles are born. The kind of miracles that change lives. That save lives. That create families where there were only strangers. The kind of miracles that prove, over and over again, that sometimes the worst moments are just the beginning of the best stories. And this was the best story of all.